Instead of having that guest bedroom when somebody may or may not come over, turn that into a studio. And you can also write a portion of that off because you now have an official podcast.
A lot of your business is centered around podcasts right now.
Yeah.
And you actually go out and you're in between different states, traveling a lot, and actually setting up and shooting podcasts.
And the best way to do that, honestly, is do podcasting, because people would then sit with you and they're actually getting to know you, the frameworks that you go about with, the way how you look at certain situations or how you analyze things, and they really get to know you and really get to like you. The smartest thing that people could do if you don't want to invest in like complete studio setup is start looking at like Airbnbs, and those are different scenes that you can shoot in. So you can have an entire season of like 24 episodes and you could just do them in different rooms and it looks like a completely different setup, like you've been traveling around.
All right, so welcome. We are with Jason from J.August Media and part of the team. And we're just going over some things about podcasts. Now, I know, Jason, a lot of your business is centered around podcasts right now.
Yeah.
And you actually go out and you're in between different states, traveling a lot, and actually setting up and shooting podcasts. Mm-hmm. How did you get into that?
Wow. So how did I get into podcasting? It was... Wow. No, actually, it was due to me doing monthly content for a client. And eventually she was pivoting because she wanted to, again, establish her personal brand, more of her personal brand, because she found that she was doing a ton of things. She was doing things over here as far as consulting people within her company, and also showing people how to get into a particular industry. And she was also doing something else with a nonprofit that she had. And she was trying to figure out ways that she can incorporate it all and to really let people in on who she is and who her company and her whole overall brand is. And the best way to do that, honestly, is do podcasting, because people would then sit with you for, it could be, 10 minutes, it could be 20 minutes, it could be 30 minutes. And in some cases, I mean, like the one that we just shot like not too long ago was over an hour. And they're sitting with you and they're actually getting to know you. They're getting to know like the certain mannerisms that you have, the certain things that make you tick, the frameworks that you go about with, the way how you look at certain situations or how you analyze things. And they really get to know you and what is that around you and really get to like you. So again, that's how we jumped into that. We were doing monthly content on short form. Excuse me. And then she decided to launch a whole podcast out. And it was so crazy because at that time, I was shooting with a medical agency or medical facility, I say agency, and they were doing long form videos too. And in essence, it kind of was like a podcast because they were bringing people in and interviewing people. They were interviewing like divers and certified instructors from like the Georgia Aquarium. They were bringing in like different industry leaders and stuff like that within this like particular niche in hyperbaric medicine. So we, in essence, were doing a podcast the whole time, and we didn't realize that a lot of it was scripted. But that was what I was able to show. I was like, look, this is actually the thing I'm doing. But anyway, that's kind of how we jumped into it. But it was a really good move for her because, again, that's the easiest way for people to really get to know you. It doesn't matter what industry that you're in, but they could sit with you, know you, and begin to like just really just digest who you really are,
Okay. And I also say, I asked you this question. Sometimes people might get nervous about, hey, my podcast, I have this podcast, but I'm not getting a lot of views. Mm-hmm. But I know you ask her for feedback, or you ask all your clients actually for feedback. Mm-hmm. And what is some of the feedback that they get, even if they're not getting a lot of views? Yeah.
So even if you're not getting a lot of views, it could be numerous amount of things. But if you're not, it's still the ability to send a particular client or a particular, like, let's say, for instance, if you're going out for something and they really want to get to know who you are, you can send them that. And they can really take a deep dive into who you are. I think the best thing about podcasting or just doing long form videos altogether, short form is good. It's good for the interaction. It's good for like big punches of information. But if you're able to like really take time out from your day, whatever that you're doing, and make it count. Meaning if you can like sit down for like 30 minutes and film an entire podcast, that's 30 minutes that you could get a complete thought across, you could get a complete framework across, and you could just refer people to that video. And also that's the best use of your time, because then you could take that and chop it up into shorts and stuff like that. But when I got the feedback of saying they're not getting a lot of views, they were getting interactions from other places. So meaning people found it, they watched it, and then they midway through they were like, let me see where else I can find him or her. So that's been the feedback that I've been getting, based off like the podcasts and such that they've been doing. And in some cases, some people just have out the gate success because they may have had something already going. They may have had something already brewing. And then from there, they're like, okay, we're going to do a podcast as well. So everybody from the other platforms just jump onto the podcast. And now they get to know me even more. Like, I never knew that he liked blueberries. I never knew that, he had 6 cars, or, he was really into mountain biking. We didn't know that based off the short form content. I think the biggest thing that people need to realize too is you kind of have to pay attention, like what's happening, meaning you're starting to see a lot of celebrities doing podcasts. And we had this conversation just the other day with someone. It was, why are celebrities having podcasts? I don't understand it, because they're realizing more and more now about their intellectual property. They're realizing more and more that you don't need a network like NBC or CBS or, anything like that to back them. They just realized that I just needed my face and my voice. And people will come to me. I already built, whatever I built as far as in movies or in television or whatever I've done. And they realize now, like, I can actually take this and own it myself. So a lot of celebrities now, you may notice, they have their own podcasts, they have their own setups, they have their own, shows and stuff going on, because it's absolutely free to start. And you don't need anybody to start it. I think the biggest podcast that's out right now that it's clear the two that started it was Michelle Obama and her brother. Yes, she was the former first lady. However, the influence that she has, she just launched the podcast straight out the gate with tons of sponsors, because who's not going to be who doesn't want to be connected to that? So I think you just have to pay attention to why people are doing it, instead of just saying, I don't understand why everybody has one. Understand, like, man, I don't know if I should do one, or maybe I should do one,
Ooh, okay. And speaking of setup, I love the way you guys do it, because you might not have, like, your clients actually don't have setups in their house. No. How do you get around that? And what do you guys do?
Wow. So, so what we do in particular is we have setups that we can move from state to state, from place to place, which we've been doing. And again, it consists of like the mics, cameras. And then we also find like areas to which we can shoot. I think the smartest thing that people could do, if you don't want to invest in like a complete studio setup, is start looking at like Airbnbs. Look for really nice looking Airbnbs that really aesthetically pleasing. You like the furniture, you like the setup. And then when you get inside there, what we do, we get inside there and we start moving things around just a hair. We take a picture, we definitely put it back. But then you have to think about it. If you're renting a whole house for like four or 5 days, you then have all these multiple rooms that are already like beautifully, like, decorated, and, they have all the accessories and all that stuff, and the couches and, different things like that. So that's what you look for. And those are different scenes that you can shoot in. So you can have an entire season of like 24 episodes. And you could just do them in different rooms, and it looks like a completely different setup, like you've been traveling around. So I think that's one of the biggest hacks. But the biggest thing you really need to know, and I don't want to just say it's the high-end equipment that you need. You really just need to have like a topic that what you want to talk about. There's a ton of people who do it on their iPhones, and that's all well and good until you realize that I don't want to edit this anymore. I want it to look a little bit higher quality. And then you could move up to that. But I think a lot of people just get stuck. They be like, I don't even know where to start. Or if I shoot it, like, what should it look like? Just get out your head and just start it. And then as it grows, you could then progress on to like, these nice cameras and such like that, and just have somebody do it for you. So
Okay, now when you do fly out, I know you guys do something like batch episodes.
Yes.
What is that? And like, what
All
does
right.
that mean?
Yeah. So batch episodes are basically saying that, for a particular season, let's say, again, the way we do it, we do 12 and 12. So you may have one season we're shooting in whatever particular state or whatever particular Airbnb. And then that one season, you may batch 12 episodes. And 12 episodes are literally being 12 podcast episodes, video podcast episodes we're talking about. So we'll batch those all out. We may shoot 4 and 4, and then on day 3 shoot solos or shoot ad reads and such like that. But it's just basically taking all your topics, 12 topics at a time, and shooting them all at once. So there's multiple outfits that you're putting on. There's makeup artists that's there. There's different things as far as like moving chairs around, if it's like a 2-person interview versus one, just different things like that. So if you really think about it, it kind of like take it back to like movie sets. Like they may I'm sorry, not movie sets, but sitcoms. They may film for 4 months and they'll film the entire season, and then they're off for a particular time until they come back and start filming. So that's generally just the same way that we do it.
Gotcha. Now, each client is different. So their setups are going to be different.
Yeah.
Their locations are going to be different.
Correct.
The people that they're interacting with are going to be all different. So it just depends on those clients and those needs of each client.
Correct. Because even, there was 2 particular clients in the same state. One had, episodes where they were just interviewing one person or solos, whereas the other client had sometime a panel of 6. And, at that time, you just really have to think on your feet, because you have to have 6 mics. Or if you don't have 6 of these mics, do you have 6 wireless mics to make sure everybody's audio is coming through? Because, the thing that people need to realize too, the videos are great to look at. They're great. But if you can't hear them, that's the other issue. So yes, but with this particular client, sometimes we would come up and say, hey, we just got word that we could get these people in, and we're literally on the drop of a dime, like 4 mics up, 4 mics connected. The host has one. There's somebody else walking around. So that's like 6 different mics that we may have. So I always make sure that we're just prepared, and we have a ton of mics as well too.
Okay, now this one, a lot of photographers, videographers, people in your industry, in your field, they like to gatekeep a lot of stuff. You always make one recommendation to all of your clients when you are working with them. And what is that? For them to get a what?
Oh man, it's for them to get an Osmo. So I think that the only thing is with the gatekeeping and a lot of the just want to hold on to information. I think it comes from a lack mindset. And basically what that is just saying that you don't believe that another opportunity is going to come through. You just believe that you have to hold on to this one person forever to grapple onto them and get as much as you possibly can out of them. And I understand some people, that's the way they do business, but that's not an abundant mindset, because that one person, you could be just with that person for a season, and that person getting through the season just may be what you just need in that season. You may just need to have these videos so you could then take those videos and market it to somebody else. So I always tell clients, I'm talking about everybody who I work with, if we're shooting and we're doing stuff, I know I'm only there for a certain amount of time. I don't follow them around 24/7. There's different things that they're doing. There's different events that they may have that I can't make it to, or my team can't make it to. So I encourage them to get an Osmo, because I know, for one, the footage, I use it and the footage is great. And number 2, that could be content that we could throw into different things, as far as like, hey, I know I can't make it, but shoot something, I can include it in our next set of videos, or shoot something, make sure you post it, because it doesn't make any sense like you to have high quality. And then when you do it yourself, it looks horrible. It might as well you step it up just a bit. And if I can help you out to do that, I want to make sure I do that. But for people who just don't want to even give that information, I just think it's coming from a wrong place. It's coming from a bad place. And it's unfortunate, but you just need some internal work on that. But I just always believe like, hey, if they're here, if you're in my circle or my client, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to help you out. And it always comes back full circle to where I really appreciate that. Hey, I know somebody else, and I'll do the same thing for them as well too,
Gotcha. Now, also on that same thing, give me 4 things that if I'm starting my podcast, or I am a photographer, videographer, and I want to start shooting people's podcasts. What are 4 pieces of equipment, or 5 that you're like, you need to have this in your back pocket because it's going to help you?
Basically, I would say the number one thing if they're starting a podcast is make sure you have decent audio. Number one, the audio piece to it, no matter how you people could take looking at a not shot so well video, if it's a little bit dark or if it's a little bit grainy, they could take that. But if they can't hear it, it's like at that point, it's like, what's the sense? If they have the struggle to hear it, and the easiest way you could tell, excuse me, if you start something, and you just close your eyes and you're not looking at the image, and if you can't hear it, what's the sense? You were like, okay, I can't. This is taking too. It's too hard for me to consume this. It's just way too hard. So I would say the first thing is invest in a mic, and just when you're asking a client, ask them the bulk of the episodes that they'll be doing. Would it be interviewing one person, or to be interviewing two people, or do they have a panel? If they just say it's like just one person here and there, just invest. If you can't afford these Shure microphones, the Rode microphones are great, or just do it wireless. To be completely honest, the DJI wireless mics are great. If you just tuck them away, you hide them, or if you just have it hidden somewhere near their head to make sure they pick up some good audio, there's plenty of programs out there where you could clean up the audio later. So that's the biggest thing. The number two thing is just invest in a camera or a phone that's continuous, because again, the last thing you want to do is have to worry about the thing shutting off at a record limit. And most of the cameras now, they don't have record limits, but a lot of cameras they do. So if you do have a camera in your backpack right now and it does have a record limit of like the 29 or 28 minutes, just keep in your mind that you're going to have to restart that. And at one point there may be a cut inside the video. So that's when you'll have to have another setup, or you have to run not wireless recorders, but screen recorders to make sure it's continuously going on. The other thing that I would suggest is like lighting, because it just all depends on where you're shooting it. If you have really good light, then the camera's going to pick up the light. And then from there, clearly you could just shoot it anywhere, and you can kind of have it to where the person is nice, evenly lit, and you don't have to worry about it really being too dark and, things like that. And then finally, wow, number 4. That's good, because really is only really 3 pieces that you need. But I would say number 4, and this is not even in your backpack, just to have a good content plan, as far as how are you going to shoot it. Have your plan as far as the format that what you're going to shoot it, you're going to back it up, and the way you're going to distribute it. Because a lot of times you may have a 3-camera setup that's 3 different cameras. There's audio if you're running it through a sound mixer. There's another card, so that's already 4 memory cards that you're dealing with. If you don't have a proper structure in place, as far as like when episode 1 comes in, I have 4 folders to put everything in, and you just have files sitting around, that's just like you're just looking for chaos at that point. Oh, I will say number 5, the biggest thing, and anybody in like the entertainment industry or movie industry know, to have yourself a clapper, or if you don't have a clapper, or you don't have a slate board where you can actually just hold it up for every camera to see so you can line up and sync footage. If your editing program doesn't do it that well, then you just make a clap and you could see that peak, and then from there you can line up all the footage that way. A lot of the softwares now have it, but again, if it's messing up, you'll be grateful that you just have that one peak that you can line everything up and you can edit from there. So,
all right, thanks. I knew it was gonna be 5 questions. I knew you couldn't get away with just 4. I know you too well.
Yes.
All right. Now, speaking of gatekeeping, I know a lot of your clients, you push them to the next level, and you actually go into their home. Well, okay, talk about this. Finding that right space in your home to create into a podcast.
Yes.
So we'll start there first. Okay. So I need a space. I'm tired of going out. I'm tired of maybe renting an Airbnb all the time. How can I create a space in my home?
Wow. So this is good. So this is actually a 2-pronged question, because right now, for the ideal person who's starting a podcast, I'm being honest, and I'm just going to say it, are people over 40. If you're a little bit later on in life, right now is like the perfect time, because the amount of people that we see within this age group being consistent online is like few and far between. So you may see younger individuals out there constantly recording things. They're constantly out there. But for the over 40 demographic, it is not a lot. So by you starting one, you already, number one, have a ton of life lessons and just experience in general, to where you could teach a 30-year-old, you could teach a 20-year-old, whatever you're starting. But number two, if you're finding a place in your home, most of the time at this age, depending on when you have kids, they may be getting ready to leave, or they're about to go out to college, or they're about to move out, or now they're working, or may have an extra space in your house, or you just upgraded your house. It could be a numerous amount of things. So that's kind of one thing to think about. So now when you're looking for a space inside your home, I would just say, like, instead of having that guest bedroom when somebody may or may not come over and you may not get a lot of guests, turn that into a studio. And you can also, I'm not a tax professional. You can also write a portion of that off, because you now have an official podcast. And I'm not talking about a podcast where you film like 2 episodes. I'm talking about you have an official podcast, like you film 10, you film 15, you're in like episode 50. And now you have that space inside your home to where you create. And I think the best part about that, like, for us, we turn this into like our space.
And what is this?
What is this?
This is our dining room.
This was a dining room. Yeah, this is a dining room.
That no one ever ate in the dining room. We never did, no.
Yeah. So I think it's great too, because then you remove that barrier of, I don't want to say the barrier of entry, but you remove that barrier of saying, I don't really want to do this. Oh, I got to set all this stuff up. You remove that second thought that you may have, like, I really don't want to pull the cameras out. I really don't want to unzip anything. Now it's just like, let me cut the lights on. Let me hit record. So you're more likely to do something if it's already set up as well. And especially if you don't have to retweak anything. Everything is already dialed in. You just literally just turning things on and just going, just making sure the red lights are flashing, and you just go from there. You're more inspired at that point too, because every time you walk into the room, you look around, like, oh my God, I love the way it looks. Let me create something. And not only that, I think when you're building out the space, really just pull from inspiration of things that you saw, or you've seen, online. I think the greatest thing that people could do is, like, instead of like consuming things, like, what makes you stop on it, like, think like, why did I stop on this? It got to be a reason why I stopped on this. So for us, I know we like the Mel Robbins podcast, so we just let how it looks. I love Oprah's podcast, even though half the time I'm not even really into the thing that she's talking about. I just like the way it's shot. I like the way how it's so clean, and the way the room looks, versus other ones that I'll watch anyway because I like the information. But I just like how it looks. It's so inspirational just to be able to sit there and, like, man, I could talk about anything in here. So really just build that space out and make sure you do.
Now, speaking of building spaces out, I know that some people in your field and industry might get intimidated by this part, but you actually will go out to a client's houses and you will set up the whole podcast studio for them. Do you ever feel like, why do you do that? And then 2, do you ever feel like that's taking business away from you?
No, I don't. So again, this goes back to that whole abundance versus the lack mentality. So if you feel like a client asks you, and this actually just recently happened, and I knew it should have gotten to this point, because the information that she has is so valuable, but it changes so quick, and it's not her fault. It's just the industry that she's in. But if you're thinking like, no, you can't have anybody but me. But what if something happens to you? That client's business needs to go under because you can no longer do it, or you never referred anybody, or you never had anybody, like a backup plan. So I always look at it like, okay, if you're here, we're here. I think I talked about it from before. You're here for a season, and I've given you as much as I possibly can. And at one point, it's probably going to be if I'm not getting to the point where I'm evolving and we're kind of plateauing, then it's to the point where I probably have to refer you over to somebody else, because, I trust you in your judgment, but also want you to win, So I think a lot of times if people feel to the fact that they can't move on, no, it's with me, then you just limiting yourself because you're not letting that client fly. So if someone asks me, and this actually just happened, yes, I want it. I want to set it up. So if they feel inspiration, they could just hit the button and go. Because you also have to think about it too. If somebody's feeling inspiration at 2 a.m, like, are you going to answer your phone and like, oh, I'll drive over there, we'll shoot it right now? Like, no, like, get it to the point where they could do it on their own as well. And if they need help along the way, you could still provide that, like whatever support services that you can have, whether it be like a paid support service or like whatever, however you want to structure it, you still have that option. But I think your clients will start respecting you more, or the good clients will respect you more if they see that you're in it with them. Meaning, like, as much as you guys want to win, I want to win with you. I want to be your content partner. I just don't want to be your content provider. Let me be your partner. So if there's something I could tell you, like, hey, if you're going over here, I suggest that you do this, 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 and this. If you want me to get the footage back, yes, I could do it. But just make sure you shoot it this way, because we're partners in this. So when you win, in essence, I win. But also the thing is, if anybody is like in this same boat and you're a creator that you capture content for somebody else, think about the prong of that person's reach. So if you're doing it for a particular individual and they're posting it, of course, people are going to ask, man, how does that look so good? Oh, this person did it for me. They film content with me, but they help me with this. Then it's just opening up your marketing right there, because now you have a person that's doing it. You know, let's say if you were only shooting like 2 times a month or 3 times a month, now they're shooting like 5 times a week. Like how often are people seeing that and commenting like, that looks really good? Oh yeah, you know, my guy did this. Here's his information. Mm-hmm. It just opens you up to business that way as well too.
So what is it exactly that you do when you go out to a client? What are you doing for them in their house? What are you getting them? What are you setting up? What does it look like?
Okay, so when we go out, what we're doing is, number one, looking at their space. Number two, especially if they don't have a plan. If they have no plan, we're looking at where can you set this up? Number two is trying to figure out what inspiration do you have. Did you see a podcast out there that you really like? Did you see any type of furniture, or do you have furniture in your house already? Number three is start looking at, okay, if you were to film, how many people are you filming? And then we can kind of look at the area and try to figure out how much depth can we get? What cameras do you need? What audio equipment do you need? What lighting do you need? A lot of people may think as well, like, I just want a natural light area to shoot with. Yeah, no. Yeah. You need some lighting, because the sun can do anything. It could be cloudy this day. It could be dipping in and out. Like right now, we're continuous on the light. But a lot of people say, I just want to have natural light. This is different than photography. Okay, I'm sorry. So when the camera's running, you have to think about it. If a cloud comes in and covers that sun, you now are dark. And now we're looking at a video that was bright before or well lit before. Now it's dark. So different things that I'm looking at like that. So what I provide is like a list out, like, hey, these are all the equipment. These are the stands. These are the cords. These are the dummy batteries that you need to keep the camera running. These are the memory cards that you should have. These are the dongles that you need to load the memory cards onto the computer. These are the hard drives that you need. This is the way you can upload the footage. This is the way you should save the footage. Like, it's a complete list of things that you need to do, because a lot of people may get the equipment, they put the memory card in there, and now the memory card is full. Like, what do I do? Like, should I erase it? Like, did you back it up? Like, no, what do you mean back up? Like, how do I get the footage off of here? So it's a complete list of things. So it's like a big holistic approach to the way I take it, especially when it comes like to setting up the lights, to have it to where when you turn this on here, the camera needs to be here. So in the event like the camera, you turn it off and it kind of messes up and it completely erases the settings, you already know where to go back to. So there's reference guides of what you should do as well too. So it's a whole big plan. So think about the easiest way to do it. It's like whatever job that you're on and you have like a standard operating procedure, that's the same thing you get. You get a whole manual like, hey, okay, if this goes wrong, this is what you do. A troubleshooting, if this goes wrong, this is what you do. But for the most part, the settings should be this way, in this format, and these steps.
And everything is basically online. You do what is those things you call it? When you send me...
Oh, a looms?
A loom.
Yes. We set up a loom. We do set up a loom. So yes. We can go for that.
Okay, yeah. But you actually will come in and set everything up for me. So if I need you to set up it because I have no clue what to do, you'll come into my house. You'll set the lights up. You'll set the cameras up. You'll set everything up. And I just basically press the button.
You just press the button, you turn it on, and you start recording.
Okay. And then not only do you do that, but the clients send you the footage. Yeah. You edit it for
exactly. So it's a win-win if you really look at it. And a lot of creators, again, I don't understand it. They just like, well, we have to shoot it. And like, well, you set it up. So you know exactly what footage that you're going to get. As long as it's shot correctly, the edit should be perfect. My whole thing is like, sometimes when you get footage back and you're wondering what did they do, and I'm like, what are we going to pull from here? We could do magic. But in some cases, like, what is this? Like, what do you expect us to do with this? It's not going to work. So,
Okay. So how can people reach out to you? They want to do this on their own. They kind of have it in their house, a space already in their house. They bought some furniture, but they need cameras and lighting. Can they reach out to you for that?
They can. Easiest way to reach out to me, if you find me on Instagram at j.augustmedia, or if you want to email me at info@jaugustmedia.com. Just let us know what you're dealing with. Let us know you're dealing with it. Again, there's a lot of houses that we've been in, and we've turned spaces into like some great things before, especially with the quality of the video that comes out of it. So
Great. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right. Until next time.
Until next time.